Nick Dogan, North State Law. We safeguard your professional license so you can get back to business. Today, we're going to talk about the legal implications of social media use, what physicians need to know. So, obviously, you're a physician. You've spent a lot of time in school, a lot of time in residency. You passed your boards and you've been licensed. So, the biggest thing is you are now in one of the more trusted professions that exist on this planet. So, with that, becomes a certain level of responsibility regarding what you put out there on social media. Whether that's fair or not, it is what it is. I mean, you want to make sure that you project, even on your personal profile, a level of professionalism that reflects you as a physician, not so much you as an individual. And there is a blurred line there that a lot of the public might not really realize. So when you post something out there, yes, you can make sure that only your friends and family see it. But at the same time, sometimes when somebody's a friend and you post something that they don't like, they might not be a friend for long, and that could cause you problems further on down the line. People take screenshots of things that they might not necessarily agree with, or that they might take out of context and utilize that further on down the road and send that over to your board or your employer, or potential employer, whatever the case may be. So you have to be careful, because even if you have your settings on Facebook, for example, very secure and private, that information can still get out. So you have to take the mindset of, when I post this, most likely my employer is going to see it, and or the board might see this. So you have to take the mindset of, yes, I can communicate with friends and family. I can share pictures of kids or my vacation or things like that. The worst thing is you post something inflammatory, you get in an argument with somebody, you say something that you would regret on there. Is that going to be an ethics violation? It's not, but it doesn't reflect very well on you, and that can kind of spill over into your professional life. Whether that's fair or not, again, it is what it is. But the reality of the situation is, as licensed professionals, especially physicians, everybody kind of looks at certain professions a certain way and expect certain things. So being a physician, that kind of comes with the territory. So on the legal side of things, you also obviously need to be careful about sharing anything that is related to patients. Obviously, no PHI or anything along those lines. And in particular situations, I've seen a lot of physicians, and I call these folks like celebrity physicians. They'll be on TikTok. You'll see them on Facebook or Twitter, things like that, and they really do a great job advocating for their profession. Now, one of the things that I've seen them do, that where they get kind of close to that line, they never talk about any patient information that would identify the patient. They may give some kind of broad examples of, hey, I've seen a rash of XYZ in the emergency room recently. Here's what I think is going on, and kind of give people an update. This was big during the pandemic. Yeah, we saw a lot of physicians go on social media and talk about their experiences. Those experiences were very broad, kind of a macro perspective of what's going on in the healthcare field at that time and what were they seeing. They were not really getting into specific examples of, well, today I saw XYZ, and get into the particulars of, especially a unique case, because then somebody, from the hospital that they might be 2 floors down from you and not have any interaction with that patient, but they hear something from somewhere and they can put two and two together. I've seen that happen before. So you need to be really careful what you post on social media. And look, social media can be a great tool for your profession. It can really educate people about what's going on in the healthcare industry. And I do think that it's very important that people in, high quality professions like, the medical field, keep the public up to date on what's really going on, and your experience there. So, my thing is not to try to scare anybody from using social media. My thing is, make sure that you're protecting yourself first and foremost by, again, not sending any patient PHI out there, making sure that you're not getting into any sort of, lack of a better phrasing, a yelling contest or argument with somebody. A, that's just not going to do anybody any good. And B, it can come off the wrong way, and it could end up with somebody just, having a baseless complaint against you that would end up probably going away, but you really don't want to deal with that headache. But you can still advocate for your profession. And I've seen a number of people do this where they don't like where the healthcare industry is nowadays, and they have ideas and they want to see things kind of change for the positive. So having a platform like that is great. Utilizing that platform form in the appropriate and best manner is where you need to decide, how am I going to, and put some thought into it. How am I going to best frame this particular issue that I've seen crop up over and over and over again, and we need to put a spotlight on this so we can potentially get change, right? Those are the type of things that I've seen a lot of people do. And again, I call these people, the celebrity physicians. Sometimes when people are doing this, these celebrity physicians, at the end of the day, they're promoting their own business, is what it really boils down to. They'll have links in there. But, take away the cynic perspective from that and focus on more of, the positive message for particular change of things that are in the medical field that really do need to be changed. And that's not really for me to decide. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. If you see change and you frame it in a particular way that's not going to be inflammatory, but just makes people think and brings it to light for the general public to kind of say, you know what? That physician's got a good point. That person's there a lot. I've never thought of that. Maybe I'll start to look into this. Those are the type of things where you can really impact positively your community while also not really exposing yourself to any sort of negative legal implications, right? Because as long as you don't put any PHI out there, as long as you're not getting into these ridiculously bad arguments or throwing slanderous stuff out there, then you're going to be towing the line of, I'm being informative, I'm being a positive potential influence on my profession, I'm trying to help the public out. And those are the things that, not only are going to help you and the profession further on down the road, but just from a business perspective, it's going to help you on the business side of it. And you might be be working at a facility where you're not an owner of it, but at the end of the day, if there's still value in that for you as a professional, you can get a following, you have options further on down the road. So it's going to be a positive impact for not only for you as the professional and your career, but also for the people of North Carolina and the medical community at large. So pick your spots, make sure that you do things the right way, put some thought into it, and then, make sure that you pick, all right, these are the 2 or 3 platforms that I'm going to use. I'm going to use Facebook, I'm going to go TikTok, and then I'm going to do Instagram, and just kind of feed the machine, right? But when you do that, obviously you want to do it, feed the thing the best amount of content that you can possibly think of that's not going to get you into any sort of legal issues at all. And when I talk about legal issues, I'm not just talking about potential issues with the medical board. I'm talking about other potential issues on the civil side. And I know we don't do civil law here at North State Law, but just as a practical matter, you don't want to expose yourself to any sort of liability. And I know that if you come up with how you want to run your social media and sticking to that voice and the message that you want to get out there, it's going to become easier for you, and you're going to have less of a concern further on down the road of, hey, am I exposing myself to any of this liability? Because you've already set the groundwork and you've set parameters about what your message wants to be, what you want your message to be. As long as you stick with that and you don't deviate, then it gives you a higher chance of not having any sort of legal issues in regards to your social media. So I hope that was really useful information. If you got any questions, check out the other videos on the YouTube channel. Also, if you can't find what you're looking for there, check out the other blogs on the northstatelawfirm.com website. And if you still can't find what you're looking for in either one of those spots, then please give my office a call or a text, 919-521-8810, and you get a free 15-minute discovery call with a member of my staff. Thank you guys so much for taking care of North Carolina. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Bye-bye.